I'm Jim.
And I'm Frank.
And I'm Jerry.
And this is the JFJ Conspiracy Podcast, where the shop talk is rock.
Yeah.
We're at episode 101, and we're doing something kind of special, fellas.
Shop talk is rock tonight.
Tonight it is talk. Absolutely. We're going to have a couple special guests on.
Yes.
And they're going to help us dissect an album that we all, I think, agree, enjoy, and might be on the side of people that actually like. I'm hoping, anyways. All right. Me too.
I love it.
I have a couple versions, as you can see.
Yeah, I was just looking at
Yeah,
over your
I told
shoulder
that.
there,
I said
Brenneman.
that too, Jaime. I said, man, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
He's even got some below deck. Look at that.
Oh, you know he does, Jaime. He's probably got 5 different colors of vinyls of the same,
Something very special. I will show you this.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's the latest that came out. And it also they brought out the fancy it's lithograph bonus. Yeah.
Wow.
So of course the album we're talking about is Kiss the Elder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we'll bring our guests on here in a minute and we'll talk about that and invite them and get their take on it and the beginnings, the middles, the ends, and then we'll pick our favorite songs off that album and maybe some songs that we don't like. Is it possible? We'll see.
Yeah, I got my list.
All right.
And there's no song I don't like. There's if you go through the whole story, there's one I like less,
right.
But it's not like, oh, that one's a stinker. I don't like it. It's just like I said, I went through the list and I go, and I thought the same thing Jaime said before we started, folks out in Conspiracy Land. We're going to pick our favorites, and which I got. And I thought, well, we're probably going to have to, not a song I hate, but it's liked less on my radar. So yeah,
that'll work.
But yeah, for sure, got my favorites. And this is after Unmasked.
Yes, this was the album that they decided to the direction they took after Unmasked, and we'll talk about that a little bit when and we can let the cat out of the bag now. Our special guests are going to be the one and only RonnieBarnett and our good friend Jeff Brenneman. And we get back with episode 102. We'll be back to music and some
regular format. Yeah, folks,
right.
You got to do a little special. Yeah.
And was it your pick, Jim?
It was Jaime's pick. Yeah.
And what did you pick? What was your classic album?
The Elder.
Was that what you picked?
Well, no,
he's discussing it.
But this is like an offshoot show, Jaime. I think he picked Scorpions something.
Scorpions Love Drive.
You were going to.
There you go.
Decided to do
right.
So is Elder?
The caveat was, if you can get Ronnie and Jeff on to talk about the Elder, we'll do that.
Right.
And I don't remember why the Elder came up.
Well, all right. Here are our guests for the night. Look out. We're talking about Jeffery T. Brenneman with a newly released CD, EP, Brenneman, Marcos. We'll talk about that real quick.
And you got to plug the Paisley Stage Raspberry and Rhyme podcast.
Oh, yes,
podcast with him and Soraya. Yep.
And I guess we should say Club Barnett because that keeps showing up in my
same here
in my YouTube feed.
I
can't get away from it.
No,
these two guys are ignoring me. I keep trying to get them to do the show, and they won't call me back. Our other guest here, the often imitated, never duplicated, Mr. RonnieBarnett.
Woohoo!
So happy to have you both here.
I got nothing to plug. I got
nothing happening right now.
No online platform, no new CD. Yeah.
No mail call, nothing.
Oh, I got plenty of mail calls.
Yeah.
Oh, he's worse than you, Frank. He's worse than you, Frank.
Yes.
All right. Well, what we're doing here tonight, guys, and we'll kind of do a little round table. We're talking about, I think, one of our favorite albums and an often panned album, Kiss the Elder.
I don't get it. I love it.
Yeah. Go around. Start with you, Jerry. Are you on any of the Kiss sites on Facebook or the fan pages?
No. A lot of them keep coming up. I think Kissopolis comes up a lot. and a couple other ones, but no, I Facebook I don't do as much as Instagram these days.
What about you,
But
Jim?
no, I'm not, to answer your question. No.
Okay.
I'm probably registered on a few, and I probably avoid them.
Okay. And I'm getting to that. Jeff, how about you?
Yeah, I'm on probably a half a dozen at least, somewhere between half and a full dozen's worth for sure. And Jim's absolutely right.
And I know you're on a couple, Ronnie. Oh,
I am on a couple, and my favorite one I can't really publicize.
no, we're not allowed to talk about.
Not allowed to talk about it, but it's by far the best. I'll say
Yes.
that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that I find, you guys may be able to relate, maybe not. I find that Kiss fans in general are about the same maturity and intellectual level as the pro wrestling fans on Facebook. It's nothing but sparring and hate and discontent for each other when talking bad about their favorite band or pro wrestler or whatever. But when it comes to
or album in this case, yeah.
Yes, this particular album I think is one of the most polarizing albums, because you have a camp like us, I'm sure, love the album, and for all different reasons. And then there's other people who I don't want to be rude, because we may even have a listener or two who's in that camp, but their heads are so far up Paul Stanley's butt cheeks that they think whatever he thinks. And that bothers me. Have an opinion for yourself, right?
Yeah, you can have your head up his butt cheeks like I do and still have an opinion.
Right.
Yep.
without losing all objectivity, which
Yeah.
a lot of people seem to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I was not targeting you there, Ronnie. I was just
No, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it.
I know
That's right.
I know how much you love and respect the band and Paul in general. And in the day back, I would say for me, up until Rock and Roll Over, I was right there with you. And then I don't know if I just grew up a little bit and changed my opinions, but I started to see, cracks in the machine at that time.
I saw no cracks. I still don't.
Very good.
See, a lot of us got them. I know you guys are a little older than me.
Yeah. So we were.
So I got off board as a 13-year-old in '78 too. Right after Rock and Roll Over, the solo albums came out. I got the solo albums, one at a time. But then, I think with a lot of us, all the commercial items and all the, even though I was 13, I'm like, this band's for little kids,
Right.
and that proved to be true. And then when Dynasty came, I didn't buy Dynasty.
I loved it
when it came out. Yeah, I didn't see no, now I love it, of course. Same with this record we're going to discuss. I did not buy it when it came out, but we can get to when I got on board maybe. But yeah, there was a spell there, and it wasn't just me or you, Frank. I think a lot of us got off board there. And Jim, you probably did too.
Yeah, I didn't buy Dynasty. I jumped off the ship. I was like, I don't they've lost their direction. Everything I loved about them seemed to be out the window. Although revisiting the album, there's moments on there that I really like now.
Yeah,
with a little more perspective and a little 2020 hindsight.
3 Ace Frehley songs
really
on Dynasty, right, Jeffrey? 3 Ace Frehley songs on Dynasty.
Yeah, but one's a cover. 9 songs and one's a cover.
I like the cover.
That's
I love me some Ace. Yeah.
No, I love Ace too, but just anyway, I got a low tolerance for covers, but that's just me.
I'll tell you though, having just seen them on the farewell tour, or whatever end of the road tour, and I told my son up front, I will not be heartbroken if they do not play "I Was Made for Loving You." I would have been happy if they'd have thrown in a song from The Elder.
Yeah,
it was nothing they would ever do, but
yeah,
I would have been plenty happy with that. I don't need to hear that song again. So,
well, real quick, Jeff, at what point were you at that stage where, okay, it's time to venture off and listen to some more serious music?
It wasn't until after Creatures of the Night for me. I was all in for Dynasty, Unmasked, The Elder. When I first listened to it, I was like, this is the greatest thing they've ever done. And I still hold that to this day. But it wasn't until after Creatures that, and I don't think it was really what the band was doing so much as what was happening with me musically speaking.
Right.
But yeah, I was all in for Dynasty.
Well put. Yeah.
The Elder and Unmasked.
Okay, now before we get into the Elder, let's go around real quick because you posed this question. Let's start with you, Jim. What song do you never want to hear again from them?
Oh, from Kiss?
Yeah.
This album or in general?
Yeah, in general. And you can go back through the years of their live sets and everything. If you never heard it again, it wouldn't matter one bit.
I know what yours is, but I don't have that much hate for it. If maybe Christine 16.
Yeah, it didn't age so well.
Oh, I love that.
What about you, Ronnie?
Yeah,
that's not creepy at all.
I think I had that on a 45.
Hey, Ringo had a song about a 16-year-old. There are lots of them.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
Chuck Berry.
Thank you, Ronnie. Yeah.
There, Ringo, Jeff. All right, put down Ringo.
That's just off the top of my head, and just knowing what I know about Gene, it just makes it all the less.
That's why it didn't age well. When the other songs that you mentioned and those other artists, it was a different time. It was an innocent time. And then we learned more about Gene and his Polaroids and everything else. It was like, I don't want to hear
Ringo Starr was singing about holding hands and kissing.
Yeah.
Gene was talking about Plaster Caster Lady or something.
What about
taking
you,
it a
Ronnie?
whole different direction?
Yeah.
Me? I'm not going to go with like a classic like that. If Kiss songs I don't want to hear anymore, like hide your heart or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
overplayed by two other bands.
Or that You Wanted the Best from a Psycho Circus. That's pretty bad. There's lots of bad ones, like, the entire Hot in the Shade record, maybe.
True.
I know what mine is. All Night.
We've talked about that. Jeff, what about you?
I think I'm going to be a little controversial here and go with Rock and Roll All Night. It's a great song, and I love that it closes the shows, but they just do it all the time.
Right.
Nothing against the song whatsoever. Just let's do The Oath as an ending as an ending of a live show. I mean, it's an amazing song. Yeah, no doubt about it. But just because of being overplayed.
You watch the crowd reaction if they ended with The Oath, Jeff, versus Rock and Roll All Night. See how that goes.
Well, you'd get out of the stadium.
They'll drop the sponges with The Oath.
I don't think they could not close with that song.
No.
You got to do that.
Right.
I agree.
Jerry, what about you? Song you never care to hear again?
I wish I had my phone with me so I could go through my Casablanca years and all the other, so I could just scan. But just right off the top of my head, just due to overexposure in my listening, is Firehouse.
Okay.
I don't know why. Live, I love it. Studio Firehouse is so slow. So let me clarify. Studio version of Firehouse is my it's slow.
Jim knows, and I think anybody that knows me that we've ever discussed Kiss, I don't ever want to hear Love Gun again. I can't stand that song. I've never liked it. I didn't like it when it came out originally. I think it's not a good tune to me, but it's popular.
Yeah, I think Paul will still say it's his favorite song.
Name of the album, lead tune.
Yeah.
Yep. Didn't they even have a Love Gun thing in a little popper?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Piece of paper pistol. Oh yeah.
There you go.
Oh yes.
Oh, Ronnie,
I keep it handy. I keep it handy, Jerry.
Fantastic.
Well done, sir. Well played. I don't believe that.
That's great.
Oh man.
I'm not gonna pop it because it's broken.
No, because like Frank said, you'll end up with confetti.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Wow.
Okay, let's get into the Elder a little bit, guys.
Oh my gosh.
The whole reason Jeff, you had said you were still listening to their music through Creatures and everything else. The story goes that Unmasked barely went gold in the United States, and they needed to change. They needed to get back to their roots. Peter Criss was gone officially. They brought on Eric Carr, and they have to do this bombastic album that's going to change the world and bring them back to superstardom. What happened? I mean, they lost direction real quick.
That album came an album later is what happened.
Yeah.
Touche. Yes, sir.
Yes.
It sure did.
And I know that Ace was disenfranchised of the whole thing. They started recording at his studio in Connecticut, his home studio. And then when Eric Carr comes on board, he's not a true member. He's an employee. So he doesn't get a vote in anything.
So Ace is outnumbered at this point.
And with everything. So then I think they went up to Canada to record, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but
Toronto, maybe?
Yeah.
Toronto. I believe
so. They bring in Bob Ezrin, and I was just reading a little while ago. They preview the record to the record company, and they refused to have the record company on the liner notes. They didn't want it anywhere. They were embarrassed by it.
Wow.
That's how they felt about the record. What's the problem here?
So Bob Ezrin, hey, at the risk of sounding ignorant, I already am. But Bob Ezrin did The Elder?
Yes. He produced it.
Okay. Thank you.
And Gene said, we're recording our Sgt. Pepper's. This is so great. This is our Sgt. Pepper's.
Oh, well, that's a little,
Well, Bob Ezrin said they wanted to do
because I love Destroyer. Well,
they wanted that concept album feel.
He had just done that.
Yeah.
He did actually. Yeah.
Yeah, they were lost. Look, they were lost. They lost their way with their old fan base. They wanted to make a big artistic, expression. And they arrived on. They talked to Bob Ezrin. They arrived on this, and God love them for going for it, right? I mean, they went for it on this. I mean, they streamlined their look. They're like the sound, the music, everything, the cover. There's no Kiss. There's no Kiss members on this cover.
Nobody.
No.
Yeah. And if you look at it in commercial terms, huge failure. But I mean, they definitely tried. There were plans for them. They wanted to tour. They did the Fridays appearance.
Yes.
As you guys know.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
let me ask you guys, would it have been successful had they did the movie like they expected to do and wanted to do originally? Because that was Gene's plan.
Not after Phantom in the Park. No movies for Kiss. Ixnay.
Oh, Jerry.
No.
That's one of the best movies ever.
Well, I agree with that, but I'm saying don't do a movie for The Elder.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people were ignoring Kiss.
I was like that.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ace, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Read the story.
All three of them.
Whoever wrote the script was like, that's all Ace did when we had an interview. So I just stuck those in. Yeah. But yeah, a movie would have flopped just as bad as the record did. Kiss just was not at that place where
nobody was taking them serious for that, as a concept album kind of band. Or I would have watched it. I would have.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd have been in.
Yeah.
Oh, in retrospect, it'd probably be all of our favorite movie. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
now
it's not too late. They're still on the road. It's not the end of the road yet.
There was a YouTube movie up at one time that went along with The Elder. I think Jim shared it with me, and
really,
I never finished it because it kind of I think the original Japanese pressing, it had a lot of the interludes in between the songs and everything.
Yeah,
and so it was hard to follow.
I believe it was like a high school production.
Yes, that's what it was.
They had written a script and had performed it and filmed it. Pretty ambitious, I think.
Yeah,
definitely.
Check that out.
Probably would have been the same quality as what Kiss would have done, I would imagine, or maybe even better. The high school.
No, I mean, it looks like it was just shot on like a couple of camcorders or whatever, right?
But they had the ambition to do it. That's pretty cool.
But when you think about what Pink Floyd had just done with The Wall, Ezrin had done that, and they made a movie from it. I'm sure they were looking at that and just thinking, like, why are we not doing the same thing? Essentially, we'll put out a record.
Yeah, we're like Pink Floyd.
This isn't a double album, though.
No,
as they always like to say, they made a record for the critics. They wanted to be critically acclaimed. They wanted they wanted respect. They had no respect from the establishment like that. They were, So
and
I think that's why we all like it. Also, I think that's why we all like it. Also,
Well, they were a visual band. If you would have taken a lot of their records, for me personally, and just put four schlobs up there without any visual aid whatsoever, I would have liked the music and the albums, but it was the makeup and the mystique and everything else that took it to that next level.
See, I was a little bit the opposite. I was turned off by the makeup a little bit, but I loved the songs.
Right.
Oh wow.
Yes.
No, I totally agree with Frank.
No. I had never seen him. And I recall riding my bicycle, guys, into my garage at home, and my older brother was there. And we had a blaster FM stereo in the garage. And I recall the riff from Parasite. And I recall hearing Rock and Roll All Night. So I heard Kiss many, many, many times before I ever saw him.
Wow.
So mine's the music. I loved it. That Parasite riff to this day is it gets you ready to go. On your mark, get set, go.
Yeah.
So I heard him well before I saw him.
Yeah, I can tell you as an 11-year-old in 1976, asking my parents to take me to Kiss on the Destroyer tour. And this show is on YouTube. It's the Summit, 1976 in Houston. And my dad was connected. He had his some guy that worked for him take me and my brother, and we had 15th row.
Wow! Oh my gosh!
Okay, I'd seen photos of Kiss live, but I had obviously I'm 11. I had I didn't have much experience. I saw John Denver the year before and stuff, but it was unbelievable. I mean, it was to an 11-year-old watching all that action, all the smoke and flash pots. And as a kid, at that point, I thought Gene Simmons was the lead singer. I was like, wow, this guy sings half the stuff. Yeah. Like, right. I wasn't supposed to get enough to tell the difference. Now it's totally, you can tell in the voices, right? But, but I can tell you, it was unbelievable. To an 11-year-old kid. Yeah. So,
No, I think the image took it a long way.
Definitely.
I don't think we'd be sitting here talking about The Elder if it wasn't for the makeup and the shows that they did. They would have never made Phantom of the Park. They didn't have any superhero qualities, right?
True.
But I was 11 when I discovered them.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so and it was pre Alive, so it was
right.
Yeah.
Dress to Kill.
Yeah. Dress to Kill.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, that was the first one I bought. Yeah, I remember just seeing ads. They were heavily promoted and all the. I had older brothers and friends that would give me Cream magazines and Circus and Hip Paraders. And so, I saw the image and it was almost kind of scary to me in a way, especially the first album and second, but who are these guys? No band looked like that. It's like so many things these days. It's hard for people in retrospect to understand the impact that had, but it did.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you remember what record store you were at when you picked up The Elder?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It was this record store called Sand Hill Records in the town that I grew up in San Marcos. And actually, I didn't pay for it. I worked off being in the store, selling pipe screens and guitar picks.
Excellent.
In exchange for credit.
Bless your heart. And in that order, folks. Yeah.
Did the same thing. I remember having to inventory the screens. Like that's
crazy. Wow.
Just
I just remember going to Music Plus and they had the pipes and the screens right next to the belt buckles. And I wanted the belt buckle. I got my Love Gun and the Destroyer belt buckles. They were $1 more than the records, I think. They're $4.99 instead of $3.99. I didn't even know, even though I was exposed to that stuff, I didn't think you're allowed to sell that stuff in a store. So I never even checked it out. And it wasn't until later, but he had those little rock pipes,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got one of those too, Ronnie? Let's see.
I do.
Had one. Oh, is he going to show that too?
Stones. Rolling Stones. We'll get you stoned.
Yeah. Thanks for knowing what that was. I tried to, for a lot of years, I was like, remember these things? And no one did. And finally a friend of mine did and got me that. I was very happy. Yeah.
Jim, where
Is
were
it
you?
used?
Yes, it used.
It is used.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't buy it till later. For some reason, I had a cassette, and I'm not really sure how it even came into my possession. But my coworker had the cassette, and so we would listen to it incessantly on the way to and from work. We would carpool, and so I'd already had an ear. I didn't really need to buy it because I was hearing it every day anyway.
Yeah.
Jerry, what about you?
What's the question again?
What record store?
Oh, same as yours, Frank. Music Plus. Absolutely. Oh yeah, right down the street from the dairy.
Yes.
Yeah, Frank and I worked at a drive-through dairy back in the day. And oh yeah, payday, Frank. I would go to Music Plus and buy 2 albums, regardless. I'm buying 2. So out of my $235 paycheck, I'd go with the Music Plus right there on, what was that, Alosta, right, Frank?
Yep.
Route 66 now. Route 66 now. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, Frank, every payday, I'd grab me 2 albums. Oh, there goes my light.
I initially went to Music Plus, picked it up. That was nice and bright, Jerry. That was good.
Sorry. No, you got to go through like 3 settings, and I've never had it just shut off. My apologies. My apologies, guys.
But after it came out and I listened to it, I remember reading in, I think it was Cream magazine, that the Japanese version was different track listing than the American version. So I drove to Tower Records, which, if you remember West Covina, if you've ever been there, they had a whole room that was nothing but import.
Now talk about getting screens and pipes.
They were set up talking about the Elder, actually.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but they were set up for the other stuff too.
Yeah. Well, I picked up the Japanese version of the record. They had the import there. My first Japanese import ever, with the shrink wrap. I threw away the Obi. Didn't think anything of it. Popped open the record. It didn't have "Escape from the Island" on it, and I'm like, why did they omit this song? It was Ace's, instrumental masterpiece, and it didn't have that on it. It's like, what the hell's going on here? Oh, I was mad. I just spent this money, and they left the song off. Usually with Japanese pressings, you get more.
You get extra.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case on this one, but and it's around here somewhere. As you can see, I've got a few of my varieties up here posted.
Now I got 6 copies of this record.
Very good.
And I do have a Japanese, but I don't have that wraparound thing. By the way, I hate Obies. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you have this. Did you pick that up?
I didn't. I missed that. It sold out before I woke up that day.
Oh, okay.
Which is true. That's a true story.
I believe it.
I got the other picture disc. I have that here.
Okay.
But by the way, I first got the Elder. I know you're about to go to me, Frank.
Yes.
Not that I'm not talking enough. What happened with me, I alluded to this earlier. So I left Kiss behind, and then I got into punk and everything. And what happened was, on the Creatures tour, the I Love It Loud video was on MTV, and I thought it was great. Like you know what I mean? And so they came to town.
That was great.
Yeah. They came to town, and I said to my friend, "Hey, let's go to Kiss." This is back in the day where, I sound like an old man and all this stuff. But going to a concert, you'd be like, "Hey, let's go to a concert. It'll be $10 or $12. Let's just go."
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So we went to the Creatures tour, and I'm really excited that some of the songs from that show are on the Creatures box.
Mm-hmm.
That just came out, including the "Kiss Sucks" rap that I remember Paul sing. Yeah. Anyway, it was like, a lot of your friends think Kiss sucks. I was like, I remember him saying that. Anyway.
Yep.
So anyway, we watched this show, and I was like blown away by the new material and the show itself. But I was like, man, these new songs are great. And I bought Creatures the next day. Then I bought like the Elder the week after that. I went back and got it. And so that's how I first got the Elder. Like I said, I didn't buy it at the time. I watched Fridays, but I wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
World Without Heroes didn't bowl me over at the time.
No. And the demon shedding a tear.
The demon, yeah.
What the heck?
No, he had a bad short haircut and he shed a tear.
And he didn't have the top of the head ponytail, and Paul had short hair.
Yeah, I didn't like the look.
Yeah.
I did not.
I like it
I like
now.
the songs.
Look at Paul's boots. They're hilarious with those costumes. Because he's
Now I
not
gotta
really
go
wearing
look, Frank.
boots. It's
Now I
like
gotta
he's
look
wearing
a car
parachute
accident.
pants or something.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Hilarious.
Like,
Right.
like if we're changing things up, we may as well go lightweight with the
Yeah.
costumes this time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the only time Gene's codpiece didn't get bigger. I think it got a little smaller.
And rightfully so.
Yep.
Well, they didn't have them.
The old shame shrinkage.
Yep.
Now we can't really. Okay, we talked about the unsuccessful Unmasked. Then we have the Elder come out, and right after that, another compilation album. And we're talking about Killers.
Yep.
But they still got the Elder costumes because they never toured, right? They didn't. They played one show in New York, I think, and that was it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think just a few TV appearances.
Right.
Yeah.
They did Fridays, and
like
I think maybe something else. And
Yeah, the show in New York was after Unmasked. That was the first one with Eric Carr. That's what you're thinking of. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Well
There were
done.
no Elder shows, just the TV appearances, like Jim,
Gotcha.
like you said, Jim. Yeah.
Now, did you think there was any correlation with the songs that came at with Killers, the 4 extras, with what was going on with the Elder? How about you, Jeff?
I definitely think it had to have. I mean, with the personnel changes and whatnot, and the reaction from the Elder, I absolutely think so.
Yeah. And I've always believed, I'm not sure if it's true, that those songs that ended up on Killers were written for the heavy album that never came out. And I don't know if that's true or not. I've read that some people say that's why they were written, and they went ahead and polished up the demos and put them on this other album. But now with the new disc that came out, there's lots of demos and stuff on that, on the Creatures.
I was going to say, since I'm fully immersed in the Creatures box right now, I can tell you what happened with all this.
Okay.
Killers is really a bridge to Creatures. Like, they wanted to get back to a hard rock sound. They just met Michael James Jackson, the producer, who previously produced, I want to say, Ambrosia and stuff, like some kind of soft rock things like that. By the way, it was Gene that said you got to add the middle name because you can't be Michael Jackson. Like,
there it is.
Especially at that time,
yeah. So it really was them finding their way back to being a hard rock band, and kind of it was a bridge to that, and it's kind of like almost like poetic in a way, right? They didn't have to come back with a full album yet,
right?
You know, it was an import compilation. You know, those songs are okay. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like Creatures blows all those. The Creatures album blows all those songs away.
Oh yeah.
So that's really what was going on. Yeah,
that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Now, when we have a guest also. It's my cat's hand. There you go.
Oh, I see the star.
Yep. So the album comes out. Let's start with you, Jeff. Your first listen. Are you okay with it? Are you disappointed? Or what are your initial thoughts when you start listening to this album?
I think I'm probably unique in this opinion because I loved it right off the bat. Ronnie alluded to the fact that, or said flat out, there's no pictures of the band members whatsoever. So
None.
To me, this was their most mysterious album. And this was the time when like Flash Gordon was coming out and Excalibur and these like fantasy sci-fi movies. And to me, like I totally bought into the story.
Right.
So right off the bat, like just the level of intrigue and mystery and just the orchestration on the song, on some of the songs and fanfare right off the bat. To me, I was just sucked in right away. It's just like this story just pulled me in right off the bat.
You were listening to it to and from work, Jim. What were your initial thoughts?
I loved it. I thought it was great. Same thing. I bought into the whole story. There was some little blurb on the back of the album about they had already cast like Christopher Makepeace to play the kid, and I was like, well, when's the movie coming out?
Right.
You know, and you heard the little what you thought were maybe little clips from the film or something, or from the script, and time went on, and there was no movie coming out. It was pretty disappointing. But I liked it. I thought it was so different. Right. And I to me it was like this isn't a Kiss record, but it's a great record.
Right.
It's a really good Desmond record.
Yeah, put a different band name on it. It probably possibly could have went somewhere. You never know. Jerry, what were your initial thoughts?
It was very instrumental in me going from the transitioning from a teenager supposedly to a man. Now, guys, when did it come out? August or something?
81,
November.
November of 81.
November.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So I have a little more time. But I listened to this back to back for like maybe 3 months before I went into the Air Force.
Right.
So that whole story, I'm afraid my old man is like, what are you going to do, boy? And I'm like, man, I'm working at the dairy making $235 a week. What do you mean, Dad?
Yeah.
I got it made.
Got life,
and
life
this
sorted
album,
out.
I'm telling you, this album, just there's when you get to your favorite songs, etc., Frank, but this helped me. You know, I was naive. I was older, but I was naive and just ignorant. And this helped me a lot.
Very good.
Then, if I may, Frank, we fast forward to where I'm already been in about a year and change. I'm an Air Force base in Biloxi, Mississippi, and Creatures comes out.
Right.
The best 1-2 ever in my life as far as album guys. And I hate to get wishy-washy on it, but I can't tell you how much The Elder meant to me to this day. Still.
Very good.
I just love it to death, and it helped me. Certain songs on it, certain phrases. So I'm like, yeah, you can do it, Jerry. You can do it. You can do it.
So quick question on that side.
Yeah.
Did you think it was Ace playing on Creatures?
No. I may have for a little bit, because this is the first Kiss album I bought on cassette, guys. That's when the Walkman was out.
Right.
And I thought I was Joe effing cool. I'm walking through the bass in my civvies, just jamming to it. And I was like, man, Ace got a louder guitar and took lessons or something. You know, because like again, guys, I was pretty naive as far as life stuff.
Of course.
But yeah, that's my dig on Creatures to this day. When I listen to it, it takes me right back there, and it's like, yeah, Jerry, you can do it. It's okay.
Well, I couldn't believe how much Ace had updated his sound, how great he sounded.
And
like, wow, he sounds so contemporary. This guy's like a shredder. What the heck?
I think
he bought a Fender. He bought a Fender.
Did I know?
Amps. Yeah.
And
I think I thought that was Ace until about 15 years ago. I still thought it was Ace.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
you
me
wanted
too.
it to be Ace. You wanted it to be Ace.
Even though there's more shreddery. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I wanted it to
way
be
more shreddery. Yeah.
No, but it's not like not like Vinnie Vincent became or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like it's still kind of believable that maybe it's I don't know. At the time, I wasn't thinking about that kind of stuff. He's on the cover. He's in the video.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yep.
And
very different guitar tone.
Yeah. Well, now, you know, maybe I used to think, I didn't know the Cars had two different singers. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Same here.
So,
for years.
You know, yeah. So,
not to piggyback on your dairy days, but when we worked there and when I knew that I wasn't the king of the street is when I took my paycheck home and my dad pulled out cash and cashed the check for me. And laughed. Yeah. Wow. So I knew it was like, okay.
Let that be a lesson.
And he says,
that's all you earned, son?
Yeah. That was basically, so you really think you're high on the hog, huh? Okay. Sign that thing on the back.
Yeah.
His walking around money is your whole paycheck.
Exactly.
Right. His folding money is your week's worth of work.
By the way, Jerry, those two albums back then cost you like $12. Now 2 albums cost you 60.
Yeah,
at least that's why you know Frank and Jim. I get in contact. You know, it's all good, but that's why like the Casablanca years. I can't tell you guys because being a completist or whatever. But my thing is Ronnie and Jeffrey and Frank and Jim already know. But this stuff in order.
Yeah.
And I will put on the Casablanca Years Sunday while I'm vacuuming and just go all the way up till probably Love Gun.
Yeah.
And it's just, I do miss the record vinyl though. I do miss the pop. But yeah, Elder was huge for me, guys, back then.
Yeah.
Huge.
Now, when I first turned it on, and I knew it was going to be different because, like Ronnie had alluded to, there's no photos of the band. It's very mysterious looking. Yeah,
the title, music from
right, and it's a gatefold. Like, wow, look at this big ass table. What is going on here?
Yeah,
I wasn't surprised by the music. The only time I was taken aback by Kiss is when I threw on Rock and Roll Over that first time, and Paul is there singing, I Want You, but it starts off with that acoustic 12 string or whatever it is.
In the morning, I raise my head.
And I'm like, I got a wrong pressing. What's wrong with this thing? And then it kicks in. Okay. But I didn't have that with the Elder because I was all in, from the get-go. So.
And since you bring this up, Frank, I'd like to talk, because last night I listened to the American track listing. Okay. I love it. I love the American track. You guys talking about getting into the story. I don't see much of a story here, to be honest.
Right.
Like some of the songs maybe contain like Just a Boy. What is it? I don't know what he's doing. Right. It's mystical sounding, but anyway, I think starting off with the Oath and then I like having Odyssey, like that second to last song. Yeah. Like, because Odyssey isn't, I know, maybe I'm jumping the gun.
I love that
songs.
I love that song.
Yeah. I don't mean to jump the gun getting into the songs, but no, Odyssey is an epic. And I think having it second to last, I don't know.
Kind of makes it.
I went to YouTube and found a video of both Paul and Gene talking about the record. Because I was looking for some like solid quotes or something, but I didn't bring anything in. But one thing Paul said is like when they played it for the record company, they said you have too many slow songs in a row. They had formatted it to sort of tell a story.
Yeah.
And he said they insisted on changing the order of the songs. He said it was like pulling all the pages out of a book, throwing them in the air, and then gathering them up and rebinding them.
Wow.
Well, I could go with Just a Boy and then and there's your story.
Yeah. True.
Mr. Black.
Leaves out a few details.
Yeah. Not many. But when you first heard it, Ronnie, were you in?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Having gone back to it, I already knew that it was going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I didn't have the experience of putting it on and having that revelation, like you guys. But I thought, wow, this is different. I mean, it did take me a few years to really grow to love it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because I didn't go back. I didn't play it that much. You know what I mean? So, it took me a while to really, get into it and really absorb it.
Right.
Which is not a bad thing, I think.
It was the record that sucked me back in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, see, you guys.
It should have been, for me. It should have been for me, but it wasn't. Yeah.
I think I'm in the minority because I did not like Unmasked. I didn't like the pop sound.
I loved it.
You talk about knowing it's not Peter Criss. That's completely different than with Ace because Ace is believable. Someone else could be playing those solos because they were playing them in Ace's style.
Yeah.
Anton Fig was doing his own thing and his own pop type stuff. And you knew it wasn't Peter. But even with that being said, I was done with him at that point. But like the idiot that I am, when the new album comes out, well, maybe one more chance. That's why I have like 13 Wasp albums.
One more time. Without thinking.
One more time.
Yeah.
They can't all be a bummer.
Right. And Killers wasn't available at the time. And even I couldn't find it at Tower Records and all that. Yeah. And hit or miss, like I said, like Ronnie, the songs are good. They're not great songs. But then when Creatures comes out, holy moly, that's a whole nother experience.
That's a mind blowing.
And they're back at that point.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the songs. Jeff, again, we were talking earlier about songs you don't really ever want to hear again. Are there any songs like that on the Elder, or are you okay with everything on the album?
I'm okay with everything on the album. I love it all. If I had to get rid of one, it would be the instrumental, Escape from the Island. I think it's a great instrumental. I love it.
I love the bass in that tune.
Yeah.
Oh.
But no, I love every single song on it, even Fanfare.
Right.
Right.
What about you, Ronnie?
I'm with Jeff. If I had to lose one, and I like it, I would lose the instrumental. Yeah. Okay. Followed closely. And Mr. Blackwell would be the next in line on the chopping block for me.
Can you guys explain to me what this Mr. Blackwell was all about? I'm thinking he was the clothes guy. Remember the clothes critic, Mr. Blackwell?
He was.
Yeah.
I thought the song was about him.
It's not?
Apparently not.
Yeah, see, I forgot. Do you guys have this book?
Yeah, I've got it somewhere around here.
Yeah.
I do not.
Yeah, anything you want to know about the Elder is in this book.
Yes.
And I'm not up on it. And it's so heavy. I have a permanent injury in my foot from dropping it on my foot one day. Like I can feel it. Yeah. I swear.
You need to relocate the book.
I swear that's true. It feels a little better now than it did, 5 years ago. But
Wow.
Yeah, is Mr. Blackwell? Is that one of the Lou Reed written, lyric written songs? Right. Yeah. Okay.
I think potentially yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Gene Simmons and Lou Reed. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, there's no story. There's no story about a young boy doing.
I never can figure out how that song fit in.
That's what I mean. I didn't understand what it was all about.
Yeah. But now that I talk about it, it's in my head.
Yeah.
So what does that say? And now I'm thinking like, yeah, it kind of belongs on the record.
I like it. Sure.
Yeah. Different color for the record, right?
Yeah. It
segues
right into Escape from the Island. Yeah.
I thought he rehashed Charisma with that song. It was just, I didn't care for it. I didn't care for it at all. Yeah. Just because it's the way he sings through it and that type of stuff. And
yeah.
But I like the little bass flourishes in there, the little things he does in there to make it sound like a little laugh. He's not doing anything more than just kind of rubbing the pick on the string or doing little things like that. But I thought it was a nice little.
It's got the echo and stuff.
A little touch, yeah.
The production is a little thinner on that song than the rest of the record too, right?
Now, did you guys read the liner notes enough at that back in 1981 or whenever it is you got it that Odyssey wasn't a Kiss song? Did you guys know that at that time?
No,
I didn't either. And I always love looking at songwriting credits, but somehow that did not. Yeah,
it totally escaped me. And you can go on YouTube and watch Tony Power's version of the song.
Yeah,
it's not that different.
Tony played on the record.
Yes, that was. I think that was the trade-off. It's in the book. They talk about that. Yeah, they got a songwriting credit because it's his song, and in lieu of payment, he played on the record, or I forget.
I think he played on I want to say. I think he played on 2 tracks.
Yeah, it's on here somewhere.
Oh, that bass and I. Woo-hoo! Especially when they break it down.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Well,
yeah. Lou Reed also co-wrote World Without Heroes.
World Without Heroes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right. I'm looking over this. Dark Light was written also by Lou Reed with Ace. Yeah. So he had his hands all over this thing. Him and Ezrin were really heavily influencing on that album.
Well, the way I understand it was they had already demoed songs for the record, and they hated everything they wrote, which was why they contacted Bob.
Wow.
It was like,
I think Dark Light had different. I think
we're drowning here. Yeah. We need a producer, somebody else, because everything we're demoing sucks. They had just come off of Unmasked and weren't particularly happy with whatever they were writing at the time.
Very good. Let's talk. Okay. Did we get to everybody? What about you, Jim? A song you'd leave off? Did I ask you?
Oh gosh. I was thinking earlier, like every song on here is either a 4 or a 5 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'd leave off the Fanfare. I don't know.
Okay.
There's nothing on here I don't.
That's fair.
Like.
Yeah. Jerry, what about you?
A Word Without Heroes. And I think simply because my memory of the visual, the video, and the demon
it's ruined it for you
with a tear.
Yeah.
You know what ruined it for me is his short hair.
Yeah, he kind of looks, they do the pan in real close and he's crying. And plus, Gene, without the thing.
Yeah. Well, and Paul in the headband doesn't cut it for me either.
That too. The headband and the short hair. Oh,
trying to cop Mike Reno's look there.
Yeah,
right.
The thing was, I saw a recent picture of him, and he's still sporting that headband.
Yeah, he's twice the size now.
It helps hold his pants up. Yeah, he's pretty big now, guys. Yeah, he got suspenders on the back of it. That just
Loverboy has four of the 5 original members still in, and the only reason the other guy's not in is because he's not around anymore.
Yeah.
Bless his heart. I love Loverboy guys.
Accident.
Yeah, I know. I was always trying to push that story to Mysteries in the
Access,
that show. Yeah. The Access
that show.
Music's Greatest Mysteries.
There you go.
Every season, I would tell the guy, we should do this Loverboy story. Yeah, never happened.
Did you guys do the Iron Butterfly one?
No. I was included on that one.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah. Thank God.
Yes, I
didn't know much about it. Yeah. Crammed for that one.
Well, let's go. Let's start with you, Ronnie. How about a favorite song on this album?
My favorite song, followed very closely by Odyssey, is Under the Rose.
Yes. Excellent song.
Under the Rose
Powerful.
is incredible.
Yeah.
Powerful. That riff, which we all know, it was written by Eric Carr, and I think he even plays it. Under the Rose is, I was going to say by far my favorite. That and Odyssey are by far my 2 favorites, but
there you go.
Yeah, Under the Rose, I think, is just magical. I can listen to that song over and over and over.
Yeah, I would have said The Oath for you because I think you would just be all about Paul's falsetto on that.
Well, of course. Yeah. Hey, just a boy too. We get a lot of Paul falsetto.
Just a falsetto on the record.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, what about a favorite song off of The Elder?
So I'm extremely biased at being a huge Ace fan. So Dark Light for me, but Odyssey right behind it, even though it's not really a Kiss song. Yeah, do I have like a Christ aura about me right now?
Yeah, you do.
You do.
Like a little angelic.
We've always thought that. Yeah, so we're not noticing it. We've always seen you in that light, and it's not a dark light.
Nice. Yes.
Good tie-in.
Yes.
Rim shot.
Yep. Jim, what about you?
Boy, I didn't even write anything down for me.
Right.
Because it was, there's so much great stuff on here. What I did write down was, and would definitely be on my top 2, is Under the Rose. I just love the guitar arrangement on that. The solo, the solo guitars and the way it switches back and forth.
Yeah.
So well done.
Right. Yeah. Isn't the solo Paul Stanley? I think that solo is Paul Stanley.
I think it's both of them.
Check.
Nice. You'll hear it switch sides, and there's little harmony parts.
If you love it, then Paul will say he did it.
Right.
Oh well, there you go.
Okay.
So. I don't think it gives Paul credit as playing the solo on that song.
Okay.
So maybe it's just Ace double tracking or whatever.
Yeah, they didn't individualize that portion.
I want to believe it's the 2 of them playing though. So that's the story.
That would be better. Yeah.
You have a favorite song, Jerry?
Purely for what I was going through in life, and purely for the lyrical content, the music, of course, and then the breakdown with the bass. But I can't tell you folks how naive I was as a youngster, and still to this day, certain things just go right by me, and about 4 days later, I'll be like, "Oh man!" But I'm
a little shocked, Jerry. I thought for sure you would say Dark Light.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but then if Ace didn't write it,
he wrote it. He wrote it.
What I really like for the lyrical content, but the segue from end of Mr. Blackwell to Escape from the Island. Woo! I'm getting goosebumps right now, folks. Just where it ends, and
it's a great transition.
It's fantastic, and there's several on the album where they just end and go, and it's beautiful. But for me, lyrical content is I I can't tell you guys how much that helped me back then. Oh yeah,
we're learning a lot tonight.
Yeah, well,
Yep. Hey, now correct me if I'm wrong, and I think I read this was about it was the first time when Gene and Paul sang Trading Off that they weren't panned left and right. It was straight in the middle.
Ooh.
Do you guys ever read that?
I had no idea.
No, I don't know. And I don't know that I've ever noticed that in the mix or like tried to pick
I'd
that
have
out,
to,
so.
Right. Check it out. I'm sure it was that was the first one that they did it that way.
Interesting.
Yep. I don't know about a favorite song. I don't want to say Under the Rose because it's been called out. It's so good. I'm looking up here. I'm gonna go with Escape from the Island.
What?
Yeah.
The bass
exactly what I thought you would pick.
Yeah.
The bass, yeah.
What because
song does everybody hate on this album?
It's Ace's
Frank,
swan
everybody
song.
hates
Right?
Escape from the Island. That's my favorite. That's our Frank.
It was his last little thing for Kiss.
I
really.
love that. I love
till
that
96, right?
All through that too.
So,
wow.
So just, I want to ask a question of everybody here, because all the, all the stories you hear, and you guys have probably been through the book or whatever, but, Ace couldn't play, he was a big disappointment, wasn't going up to, I heard he was doing tracks over the phone at one point, but you listen to the solo on Dark Light and you listen to, I would say all the solos on this, but Dark Light is the solo on that's brutal.
Yeah, it's very aggressive.
Maybe aggressive.
Good cowbell. Good,
I don't know if you call it flashy, but just sheer speed alone.
Yeah.
And I think it's right up there with one of his best solos of all time.
I would agree.
So I don't know. His playing on this just seems extremely sharp for a guy who's, quote unquote, too wasted to play all the time.
Yeah.
He's still going to have his moments, right?
Oh yeah.
Hey, I just want to say, since we've given a lot of attention to lesser tracks like Escape from the Island and Dark Light, that we should mention, that's right, I said that. Only You is incredible too. Like Gene
yes.
Gene checks in with some good stuff on this record.
You know what, Ronnie?
That crescendo, Ronnie.
Doro does it better.
What?
Doro does it better.
Does she? I've not heard Doro's version.
Gene gave it to her and they changed the lyrics, and it's a better
I don't
song.
believe that, but I would like to hear it. To hear it.
Yeah.
I'll send you the track.
Well, I can imagine Gene recycling songs for other bands.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like with Wendy O, right? With the
right.
That's My Life, and yeah. Hey, Gene wrote a lot of songs. I have the vault right back here. I mean, Gene was nothing if not prolific writing songs.
But that's why they're in the vault, is because
he knows.
Great.
Let's give him some credit.
Busy. Yeah, he was busy being prolific somewhere else. Yeah.
Well, let's give him some credit for realizing what's
Yeah.
I don't want to say the cream rises to the top when we're talking about Gene Simmons, but
but there is cream involved. So,
but now it's been said. So there it is.
Yeah.
There you go.
But with
on the JFJ Conspiracy.
Yeah, he is definitely, when it comes to his songwriting, I think he was quantity over quality. And a lot of his songs, I remember when the Makeup came off and Lick It Up came up, Jim and I were talking, and I liked all the Gene songs, hated the Paul songs. He loved the Paul songs, didn't like the Gene songs.
Opposite.
And now I don't like any of that album, but that's another story, another podcast. For another time.
Another show. Yep.
I'll tell you what. So I was just watching that Kiss Animalize Live or whatever the thing they did for MTV.
Oh yeah,
those guys were firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
They were tight. I don't know how much overdubbing they did, but it looked pretty dang convincing. I mean, Gene, Paul, Bruce, Eric, they were just on the money and playing at a breakneck speed. I was amazed at how fast they were playing those songs. I mean, you're always a little faster live, but this was like almost next level. Like, let's hurry up so we can get backstage. Get this thing over with kind of deal.
Take Ace out of the equation, all of you. And who's your next favorite Kiss guitarist?
You mean in the lead guitar spot you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, listen to this silence.
I'd say Vinnie Vincent.
Vinnie Vincent. Okay, Jerry.
I forgot about Vinnie Vincent. To me, because he's more Ace-like, is Thayer. Because I have Monster and Sonic Boom, and the only reason I say that, I love Creatures of the Night, I love Vinnie Vincent, but to me, Thayer is like Ace Frehley went to Weight Watchers and went to the gym and started practicing. Because when Thayer plays it, when he plays it, I go, man, that is Ace. But man, he has been working out.
Yeah,
he's been doing pentatonics. This guy's great. So just off of 2 albums, and again, Vinnie Vincent is a very, very, very close, especially off of Creatures. But if I go Monster, Sonic Boom, Thayer's on the money.
Okay, and, Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with Jerry for the exact same reason. Although I do have a huge issue with him wearing the spaceman costume.
I agree, Jeffrey.
But for the exact same reasons that Jerry said, because he's trying to be Ace, and he's probably a better musician. Let's face it. But I like Ace's style.
Yeah,
Ronnie.
Same here. Yeah. That was first off. That was a great description, Jerry. The going to the gym thing.
Yes.
Love that. That's what it tells me.
Going to the woodshed.
Yeah.
Right.
Look, I'm gonna say Vinny, but I do want to give props to Bruce Kulick because I know, and again, this is another different show, but the Skin years. I mean, Bruce was really great during those. Bruce really was great during his stretch. And, is it his fault that it was mid '80s and that's kind of music that they were doing? You know what I mean? Like,
and dude can play.
There's no bad Bruce shows or solos or anybody talking, stuff about Bruce anywhere. Bruce really was a major part of the band. So
yes,
I just want to give him some props
for a while.
And a really nice guy too. I've met him a couple times. Really,
as a team player, I don't think you can beat the guy.
No.
Vinny was not a team player, but I think he brought, I think, the right pyrotechnics at the right time.
Yes, he did. Oh yeah, Creatures is.
Yeah, well, he only solos on like 4 of the songs on Creatures. Like he's not on that whole album. Yeah,
no.
Again, I'm immersed in the box set. You'd be surprised who's playing some of these solos. I forgot who it is who's playing the solo on the song "Creatures of the Night." That amazing.
It's like the guy from Mr. Mister or something.
Yes. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yes, Jim. It is.
Yeah. Just totally blanking on the guy's name.
Right? Yeah, no.
Talked about him before.
And on "I Still Love You," it's like Robin Ford.
And that's a heavy solo.
Fantastic.
Very heavy.
Beautiful solo.
Very heavy. Very heavy. Yeah. Wow. So don't give Vinny too much credit on that record.
I'm going to tell you all that, I would agree with all of you, but then we'd all be wrong. The true best second guitarist, pound for pound, and I'll tell you why, was Bruce. And the reason being, he played everybody's songs. He played Ace's, and he added a little bit to him because he's a more refined player. He didn't go overboard like Vinny did. He played the Vinny songs.
Yeah.
And he smoked them.
Yeah.
Right. He had his own style, like I say, with those 4 albums of the 80s.
Yeah.
But he was adapting whatever it is they needed. He played it. And he is one of the smoothest guitar players I have ever heard. He's my next to Ace. He's my all-time favorite.
Yep.
So.
No, you're not wrong. Just Vinny.
Ace
if you're asking favorites. Yeah.
Yeah. Ace couldn't have played anybody else's solos, obviously.
No.
He had on the reunion.
Vinny couldn't. He was a shredder. Mark St. John wasn't around long enough to get a style. Really, he was that Flash album.
Issues,
and then it was over. Poor guy. But Bruce was the constant that he could play. Even Tommy couldn't play some of that flashier stuff from Lick It Up in the 80s. It just wouldn't happen. Tommy's a good guitar player, but he's very basic. He is a standard rock guitarist.
I liked him in Black and Blue.
Mm-hmm. But you're not going to say, "Oh my God, he's the next Eddie Van Halen."
No.
He's just
nobody's going to say that. Yeah.
Solid guitar player. So.
Yeah,
played in the Kiss cover band.
Literally, he did even before he did.
Yep.
So, Okay, so we've discussed our favorite albums, our favorite songs on this album, kind of our throwaways, right? Is this an album that you would give anybody if they want to listen to Kiss for the first time? Jim?
Nope.
It's an album I gave to a Kiss hater and said, listen to this. And he
There you
came
go.
away and said, like, I'm really just blown away that I'm hearing an orchestra on a Kiss record. This is so different. He's all, if they had continued down this path, he goes, I think they would have been, there's no telling where they would have gone.
Right.
Wow.
Could be. Jeff, what about, would you give this album to a first-time Kiss listener?
Absolutely not. And I'm with Jim. To the people that hate Kiss, I always say listen to music from the Elder. I always recommend Double Platinum, but for obvious reasons, because it's the greatest hits of their best period, and in my
except
opinion.
for Strutter 78.
Except for
Oh.
Yep.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah. I remember they weren't even happy with Double Platinum because Paul and Gene were both saying, we went out on tour, we come back and this record, this compilation's done, and they've chopped our songs up, they've moved verses and choruses and beginnings and endings are gone, and
I don't like that version of Detroit
they had
Rock.
no say in any of that. That's crazy. That's their music.
Yeah, but when they say we're going to pay you this much and you don't have to tour, oh,
I don't think they ever got told that poor band. They had to be on the road.
they're so very poor.
Shoot, they were. Well, I was gonna almost say they were the only band on Casablanca that was making money.
Yeah.
Oh no, Donna
Summer was huge.
Donna Summer was blowing up the place. Oh,
good old disco.
Oh man, Donna Summer in the disco days.
Oh yeah.
And Ronnie, would you hand anybody a Kiss album, the Elder, and say, check this out?
Yeah, I'm with the guys there. This is for people who don't think much of Kiss. Like I have an example of this. I played this. There's a very dear friends of mine that are a couple. One of them, the male, is a Kiss fan, lifelong, but never heard the Elder for 40 years. Just didn't want to hear.
Oh,
didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
So, and then his girlfriend, Kiss hater, but she's very sophisticated. They both play keyboards. They both played in big bands that you guys would have heard of. So we all had this listening thing at his house and at their house. And yeah, I knew they would love Odyssey, and they both did. And then I learned later she played Odyssey for some other Kiss haters. And they didn't really go for it, but she tried. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
right.
Yeah, the effort's there. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there are things on here for people that think Kiss is just a dumb, a dumb rock band, with no dynamics. There's a lot of dynamics on this record.
There's a lot of dynamics on this record.
Yeah.
No, it's.
I think musically their best record.
I would agree.
Yeah. Somebody's music, anyways. We had orchestras there. We had
Lou Reed
choirs, and
Lou Reed not writing about drugs.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Unusual, but there it is.
Or the Wild Side. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I also want to bring up, the door is not a real door, right? It's just a prop, right?
Yep.
You see. So, you guys ever get to Stanley the Parrot?
No.
What is that?
Oh, this is an early Elder ripoff boot that's out there, and this is all their different demos at the time, from Dirty Living to I've Just Begun to Fight, and there's a few other songs on here, Just a Boy, and they're alternate takes of it.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
and I've had this for quite a few years, and
Wow.
I remember when Cindy and I went to Vegas, and you guys have seen the picture. Yeah, everyone has to go over there. Ronnie did it. Right?
No, I actually haven't, but go ahead. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they had the door there, or at least the prop and the knockers and the whole bit. And you go in, door opens up, and it's like a little parlor. This was when it was at the mini golf. Right?
Yeah.
I think it's now it's over at the Rio, but
okay.
You go in there and everyone takes their pictures holding the door, but it was actually Paul's hand on the cover.
Yeah.
And
Was it?
Yes, it was.
But it was the left
I
hand.
thought he claimed that it was supposed to be him, but he had like smashed his finger or something like that.
No, they were going to hire a
Ended up
model.
using a model.
Yeah.
No, they're going to hire a model. He's like, I got a nice hand. I just put my hand on.
People. Yeah.
How you doing, people?
We don't have a budget for a hand model.
Right.
It drives me crazy when people post with that door though and think it's the real door. Because yeah. If you're reading the book, the prop guy's like, it was a square. We didn't need a whole door for that.
There's a piece of wood.
Photo.
Yeah.
No, it's like whatever, 20 by 20. He's like, we didn't need a whole door for this. It was just made for a cover shoot. And
I think in that same story in that book, you're talking about somebody, I don't know, whoever had the design for it, saw a knocker like that on a church years ago in New York, I think it was.
Interesting.
And that's where the inspiration for that came from.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's on a piece of plywood.
Yeah, I don't even think it was real wood because the designer's like, it was around the office for a while. It fell apart.
Yep.
It's gone. Yeah. So
for sure. All right, guys, let's just wrap this up. Just Jeff, give me your overall just summary of what this album means to you. Because we already know what Jerry's going to say.
Yep. To this day, folks, we're talking 40 and change later. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So to me, what makes this album great is the fact that it was such a departure. Not saying that what they were doing was bad, because I'm a huge Kiss fan, but it was such a departure. They took such a risk with this, as Ronnie was saying earlier, that I just loved how adventurous they were with this album, and the mystery, no photo on it, the dynamics, all that stuff. To me, it's just huge. And I always say I'm the one guy who says that this is Kiss's best album.
All right. I'm going to say, because I'm going to start coughing here for some reason. If I say Rock and Roll Over is my all-time favorite, I love Alive, but this is really my favorite Kiss album. It takes the full spectrum. Like we were talking about, some of these songs are so powerful sounding, the whole instrumentation, everything that was done. It does take you away from being, hey, this is Kiss. It's just a good record to listen to. And I'll keep playing this thing for quite a while.
Yep.
So, Jim, what about you?
I'd say pound for pound, probably their best. Is it my favorite? I don't know. It's probably in the top 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any profound words of the elder there, Ronnie?
I've already been so profound this whole.
You have.
Just kidding.
Dig deep, Ronnie. Dig deep.
Yeah,
that's right.
Is it
go way back, Ronnie? Come on.
Is it the best Kiss album? It's not the best Kiss album, but
nope. No.
I'm glad it is an incredible piece of work. I'm glad that they did it. That it exists in that whole canon, right?
Right.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable record, and I'm not. And by saying like it's not their best does not mean that I don't love it as much as all you guys love it.
Right.
I have 6 copies here. You know what I mean? Like,
that says something.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, their best album is it's really the one that Jerry doesn't like, the slow version of Firehouse on. But that's a whole nother. That's
another show, Ronnie.
Yeah. Actually, later in life, that has become my favorite album, the first one. But anyway, as far as like what Kiss is, but no. I mean, and look, even they try to talk about it like they don't like it was a mistake and blah blah blah. I mean, they play songs from this on the Kiss cruises. You know what I mean?
They dig deep. Yeah,
they had a ton of products come out for the anniversary last year or this year. I mean, they embrace it, and it's a great thing to have in that whole catalog. I mean, it's unbelievable. It really is. There's not many bands that like strayed and have a record, so different and so ambitious, and as we all agree, they pulled it off. As much as and Bob Ezrin try to say they didn't, they did.
Could you see a band like Aerosmith doing an elder?
Yeah, right. That's what I mean. Almost anyone.
No,
Aerosmith didn't have anything to prove.
Yeah, but they were too messed up on drugs to care.
True.
They were playing the rock and roll lifestyle to that era. But can other bands do? Yeah, Pink Floyd did it. They did it first. They did it as far as with Ezrin. They did it first, and the concept itself. Yeah, the story is pretty thin, but it doesn't take away from the songs and how awesome the songs are.
Oh.
But what other band is going to be able to do that and then come back the way they did?
Yeah, it's not a Kiss record, and that's what kind of always said. It's a great record, but it's not a Kiss record.
Yeah,
not like Hotter Than Hell.
Is that what your favorite of the first three?
Of the first three, probably Dress to Kill, just for sentimental reasons.
Same here.
First
one Dress to Kill was
when I came on board.
Same here.
Yeah, same here.
So. All right. Well, anything else you want to add? I'll wait for you last, Ronnie, because I'm running out of tape on the machine. Gary?
Yeah, keep rocking, folks, out in Conspiracy Land. We're certainly grateful to have Ronnie Barnett and Jeffrey Brenneman here on our show.
Cool.
We've come to be great friends over the years, 4 years and change now, folks, out in Conspiracy Land. But yeah, keep rocking.
All right.
Love you very much. And thank you, Ronnie, and thank you, Jeffrey. Yep.
What about you,
Jeff?
Jeff?
Thank you both for being on. That was
yes.
the whole caveat.
Yes.
That's right.
Because my classic pick was actually Scorpions Love Drive, and I said, what we'll do the Elder if you can get Ronnie and Jeff on. That's
wow.
I said, if you can get those guys to sign on, I'm totally into doing.
Yeah, he did, folks. He did, guys. He changed up. Yeah.
And I committed both of you before I even talked to you, and then I started to sweat.
Because he had already sent us a text. Going. Oh, hey, those guys are in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it was the Elder, so it's almost automatic. They're going to be here.
I try to crash all my friends' podcasts, so I've been trying to get on this one.
Bless your heart. Yeah, it's been a while, Ronnie. It's been a while.
It's good. It's just good to hang with you guys, right? And
oh yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Before I know you want me last, but I just want to say before Jim does, smash that button or whatever, and subscribe. Leave a comment. What am I leaving
notification
out,
bell?
Yes, notification bell. Thank you.
and
and spell my name right.
Yeah. Don't do that Y stuff, Frank.
You make no
do that Y stuff. Yeah.
I make so many mistakes, and Ronnie says, not to be a grammar Nazi, but you realize it. Now I got to go back and pull it and start all over.
Frank gets a commentary whenever I watch a new episode. I know. I'm sorry.
Jeff, any last thoughts?
I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for having me on. And I just had one last thought, and we've kind of talked about it throughout the episode. The fact that Paul and Gene talk about this album not in the highest regard. I just to end this from me, do you guys think their opinion would be different if the critics loved it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe that they're still like that after they have to understand there's folks like us that just absolutely love it.
No, they do. There are bands that bury records like I'm not a fan of Bad Religion, but they made a record that sounds like Journey, their second album. They won't talk about it. It hasn't been re-released.
Right.
I mean, Kiss does not do that. They don't bury this record.
Yeah. And like Ronnie said, on the cruises, they're playing a lot of the Elder. They're doing a lot because the fans want the deep cuts. That's when they play them. They don't have to worry about.
That's right.
Paul's always worried about everyone going to the bathroom during his solos and stuff. So.
Yeah.
But
we're at that age, so
they know. Yeah. No, but
by the way, I asked Frank to be my date on the latest Kiss cruise, and he turned me down.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you don't want to deal with Cindy.
Yeah.
I didn't have enough money to take her too.
No, sir. Frank's right. Frank's hip.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
All right, guys. I really appreciate both of you, but I also want to mention Paisley Stage Raspberry and Rhyme. They were recently on You Don't Mojack, right?
You don't know Mojack.
Yeah. Talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, so that was definitely an honor. So those guys, Brant and Ryan from You Don't Know Mojack, they were going through the entire SST punk catalog from beginning to end, and they got up to The Last Awakening, and for some reason they thought we could help out. So 2 guys from Canada, amazing podcast. Actually, Ronnie was the one that turned me on to that podcast. Thank you, Ronnie.
Sure. Yes. Thanks, Jeff.
And all I want to add real quickly is, yes, they're 2 Canadians, the nicest guys ever. And then they have Jeff and Soraya on. And by the end of the hour or so that I'm listening to this, I thought Jeff and Soraya had moved to Canada. They were so polite. It was amazing. Not like when they come on our show, and we get what we get. They were, you guys really have to check out the podcast because the various just astute answers, professional. It was like, where do we get this? This is amazing.
Wow.
Yep.
But no, and check out that show. I'll put the link for it also because it's a good listen.
Sorry, Jeff. I know you got to go.
All right.
Hey, love you guys. Thank
you guys so much.
Thanks again.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Thanks for having us.
Yep. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Well, before we get out of here, anything you want to say there, Jim?
Yeah. I'm going to repeat everything
Ronnie said.
Ronnie said, smash that like button, ring that notification bell, subscribe, and leave a comment.
Yes. Yeah, I don't expect to get the numbers that we got with the last episode. We did really well. A lot of downloads, a lot of views on YouTube. So
yeah, did all right.
This episode is going to be a little more compact in numbers, I'm sure, because a lot of people, once they hear their Kiss again, click.
No, it's genius content. What are you talking about?
That's right.
I'm just
I believe in me, brother.
Yeah. There's no I in team, guys. What the heck?
He has the look of a champion, a real champion.
Was that Gene doing that?
It had to have been.
I think it is.
I think he even did the
Morpheus
smoky voice. Morpheus.
Yeah.
What do you think of the boy? Well, sir, he has the light in his eyes and the look of a champion.
It was a long time before I realized him on Detroit Rock City.
Yeah,
with the radio.
In Detroit, a young man youth was just catapulted out of the windshield of a
And even the engine starts to hum. I want to rock and roll all night. It's amazing.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Incredible. Incredible.
All right, Jim, take us on home.
Shop is closed.
You got to get going.
Jeff?
Yeah. I saw the warden come in.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up.
Yep.
I'm trying to do a podcast over here.